I'm really excited to be able to meet one of you at the end of the game. All right, you guys ready over there?
Let's do it!
Okay. I'm just gonna go on and get started. All right. It's been so long since I've been on a romantic getaway. If you were gonna take me on a romantic getaway, where would you take me and why? Contestant number 1.
Yeah. Well, what we do is, I like the forest, so we probably go walking along in the forest and find a nice tree, to sharpen our claws up on.
Yeah?
And we might look for something to eat, maybe a nice fat deer. Just chase him down and just tear it to shreds. Just enjoy, and eat that meat.
That sounds great.
Wow.
Contestant number 3, same question.
Well, in my neighborhood, there's actually a nice little goat path that leads up into the mountains, and we could just pat our way up there and hide behind rocks and howl at the moon and scare the goats until the weakest one, of course, got lost. And then we would toy with him for a little bit and slap him around with our claws. And then after that, we'd probably rip out his jugular and feast on his flesh.
I don't know if it's too early to say, but I think I know who the romantic one is in the group. Contestant number 2, same question.
Well, same with my buddies here. Lots of jugular ripping and flesh feasting, and maybe we'd round up a moon, and then finish it off. I make my own ice cream.
Okay. Question number 2. If I was at a restaurant and someone was being real mean to me, like not letting me sit at the table I wanted to, and they were just making fun of my dress and everything, and like making fun of the way my hair sticks up in the back of my neck when I'm a little bit frightened and sensitized to all the noises in the room, what would you do to them? Contestant number 3.
Well, probably first I would transform fully and pick him up in my jaws, and I would take him outside and gnaw on him while he was still alive, and listen to him beg for mercy, and then after I was done and like the life was almost out of him, I would call you outside and mate with you. While he was still watching, so he could see that no matter what he did, my carnal lusts were still going to be fulfilled.
Good answer.
Contestant number 1, what would you do if someone was being rude to me?
Well, I would probably just take this guy outside and I would howl into the night for my pack to arrive. So as soon as my pack arrives, we would all transform and just tear him to shreds. Bit by bit, just leaving a pool of itty bitty bits and some blood. And then we'd probably lap the blood up and maybe mark the local territory.
This is all sounding really, really great. Contestant number 2, same question.
Well, I'm very intimidating. So, I don't know. I mean, what my dudes you're saying kind of true. Just beaten up and blood and then intercourse for hours. Lots of it. Relentless.
Okay, thanks, contestant number 2. All right, I'm just gonna go on and move on. 3rd question. I love going on picnics. Afternoon dates are my favorite. Contestant number 1, if you were to take me out for an afternoon date, where would we go and what would we do?
Oh, well, we'd probably go back to the forest, because I really like the forest. And find a nice tall hill within the forest, and maybe find a shack that has a blind old hermit just living in there, and we would just tear him to shreds. Blood everywhere, you know. And then at that point, I would probably mount you.
Just have my way with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, contestant number 3, same question.
Well, besides the goat trail in my neighborhood, there's also a small, old-timey schoolyard with about one teacher for 30 students. And so, yes, so we would. I'm shedding. I'm really turned on by this. So we would go to that schoolyard and just have a buffet of children, just little children, nom nom nom, and we would eat them like we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, just little kid bits, and you know we would then I would of course I would mount you and make mini pups.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
Contestant number 2, where would we go on our afternoon dates?
Well, I'm sure you're aware when I go into the sun, I sparkle. So, I'd like to avoid that. But you can come to my lair and you can meet my manservant Montreal. And then, I don't know, I mean, I've got the first 3 seasons of The F Word. That's a cooking show. Maybe we can make something. I will cater to you because I can only eat one thing, but maybe we'll finish it off by pressing some flowers.
Okay. Well, you guys, it's been a real tough decision. I went through a lot of hard times coming to this, but I think I made the right decision. I think I want to go on a date with contestants number 1 and 3.